various practices. It's not just the asana or the physical posture. There's other contexts of yoga. And one is pratyahara. It's the practice of withdrawing from the senses, from the external environment, instead tuning in to observe the internal environment. And in a lot of ways, that's what our restorative practices always are. It's an opportunity to slow down and disengage from the world around us in a healthy, mindful way. And instead, tune inwards to our own landscape, where we might choose to gently distance ourselves or engage more with our senses. So, what do I mean by that? The intentionality can be really important. Barring maybe a physical limitation, most of us in this room have the capacity to hear. But that doesn't mean that we are always listening. Nothing changes to our sense of hearing, but sometimes someone's talking to you and you realize, I have not been listening. I had no idea what this person is saying. I was lost, maybe distracted by something else internally or externally. So that's not quite what we're doing here tonight. What we want is a mindful detachment or a mindful observance. Something that people share a lot in their restorative practice is that as the body slows down, as there's less movement, the brain starts to rely more heavily on other sensations. You might find yourself more sensitive to the temperature in the room, or the brightness of the room, with the little lights peeking through the shades in the clinic around us. And same too, when the body is slow and the mind is still, we might pick up on noises that the busyness of our days might filter out otherwise. So as we move through our practice tonight, I'll make reference to this idea of noticing our internal landscape, our practice of pratyahara. One of the reasons that we want to practice such a thing is it helps us create a little more intention in how we move through the world, instead of just reacting to the world around us. In Sanskrit, pratyahara is the combination of two smaller words. Prati, which is to withdraw or abstain, and ahara, which can translate as food or sustenance. But we do this as a practice and a withdrawal of our different sensory inputs. One of the ways that we'll do this is if you do the very human thing of noticing your mind start to wander, finding yourself caught up in thoughts. Then we might just come back to noticing your breath. An intentional focus on a sense, but with no need to control it. You can let the breath go at its usual pace. The breath is a great mindfulness practice because there's always another one coming. It's also one of the great sensory experiences to observe, because it is a subconscious reflex. You don't have to think to breathe. Your body will do it for you. So there's always a natural rhythm to notice, to feel in the body. To observe. Speaking of breath practices, let's play a little bit with one. I might offer you taking your little sandbags, and I put one on your belly and one on your chest, or if you don't want sandbags, maybe even bringing hands to those areas. Just a suggestion, but sometimes that little bit of pressure allows us a little more feedback. So in this case, instead of maybe withdrawing from our sense, we're really tapping into this one sense. Without doing much, just notice what you feel. For some, you will feel both the belly and the chest rise. For some, you might feel one area moves easier or more noticeably than the other. Or maybe it doesn't feel like much. Notice your hands or beanbag lay. We'll just practice deepening the breath, coming into what's called deep diaphragmatic breathing. So you'll breathe all at your own rate and own pace. You don't have to try to stay synced up with me. But as we breathe, think of your torso like a pitcher of water. When we fill it, it fills from the bottom to the top. So when you inhale, we want to feel that belly rise up and expand first, and then it pulls the chest up with you. Once you reach the top of your inhale, we empty our water pitcher from the top down, so the chest softens as the air comes out and the belly drops second. So just doing that at your own speed, but imagine as you breathe, you can feel hands or beanbag rise from belly first, up into chest, And emptying chest first, and the last of the air out the belly. And just taking a few more here. Notice what you feel. Do you notice as you focus on the breath, maybe the mind really wants to wander? Maybe you're having that experience of, oh, how do I normally breathe? Maybe you feel right locked in. Wherever you're at, just a few more breaths. Trying to let that air fill the whole torso. And the belly. Letting the rib cage puff all the way up. And as you exhale, also just letting out all of that effort as well as that air. Last few. Maybe on your next exhale, just letting breath go back to normal, not trying to direct it. And just noticing how it feels after a few deeper breaths. Maybe the body feels more comfortable at this slow speed. Maybe not. Maybe the mind is in the zone. You find yourself drifting in and out of focus. It's all a practice. All right, let's take one big breath together and then we'll all sigh it out on our exhale. So when you're ready, nice big inhale, really fill the lungs and sigh it out.